Yeah. Do you think the sale of Ranbaxy, Daiichi has eventually given up on this on the company that it couldn't manage so well for so many years?
I think firstly, Ranbaxy is a very strong business. It's a very strong company, and it has a huge inherent strength in the organization. And I think that is what Sun Pharma has seen today. Secondly, I would say the value at which this transaction has happened is not truly reflective of the value of the inherent strength that Ranbaxy has. To me personally, the value of Ranbaxy is a lot more than what this transaction reflects. And therefore, if you look at the future, I certainly see Sun having a better ability to unlock the intrinsic value of Ranbaxy as an organization.
So in other words, this deal is the best thing that could have happened to Ranbaxy.
Look, it's not about a best or about good or bad. I think given where they are and the inability of Daichi Sankyo to be able to succeed in the hybrid model that they had initially envisioned, I think they've not been able to run the company or manage it with the expectations that we had jointly discussed and agreed. And therefore the company is where it is. And I think going forward, I think Ranbaxy would do better under Sun Pharma because of Sun's expertise in the generic space, its successful track record, and it's also its understanding of how to run a significant operation and manufacturing and R&D driven out of India.
In other words, as in you mentioned the hybrid model of business that Daiichi had envisaged, was that an idea out of its time? As in, was it too impractical an idea?
I think it was a very good idea. It was very much on time, and it was an initiation done by their side. They approached us for an alliance, they approached us for a partnership, which then evolved because of their level of interest to have a larger stake in Ranbaxy, and then it ended up in the transaction that it did. But it was at their behest and at their seeking to do something together. So the hybrid model of bringing innovation and generic together and emerging markets and developed markets together is fundamentally a very sound model. Other companies have done it. It has succeeded, but they were not able to execute it for reasons best known to them.
Just to play the devil's advocate here, Daiichi was an innovator company trying its hands on generics. Sun Pharma is primarily a generics company, now going to try its hand on innovation maybe. Could it go wrong the other way as well?
Who told you they're looking at innovation?
Okay.
Unless you have some more information.
Almost all companies, it is the aspirational level of all Indian generic companies which are going global these days. At some level, everybody wants to become an innovator, have those IPRs in place. And is Sun Pharma ready to sort of handle the kind of responsibilities that come with taking over Ranbaxy?
Look, I've been out of the pharma space for 6 years, so maybe your knowledge and information is slightly more updated than mine. But at least what I read in the newspapers, I don't see any Indian company today focusing in any serious manner on NCE research. I think they've all reconciled to the fact that India's strengths lie in generics, in branded generics, in challenging patents, in having a mix between emerging and developed markets. And I personally today, what I read and what I hear, I think the Indian industry is going to continue to focus on the generic market and not on the innovation space.
But 6 years down the line, after you got out of the business, how does it feel that Ranbaxy is now less than half the worth that you sold it for?
I don't know the numbers of what it is, so I'm not going to make a comment on that.
You sold it for about $8 billion. Today it's getting sold at $4 billion.
No, I don't, because look, don't look at the numbers from that perspective. I think you need to recognize that a lot of things have happened. So whatever Daiichi Sankyo has done, they walked in with their eyes open, they ran it with their eyes open, and they've chosen to do this decision with their eyes open.
What was it? Many would say.
So I don't know. So tomorrow, if the upside or whatever happened or whatever the value was, that upside or downside is nothing to do with me.
No, are you tempted to say pick up this business at this price? I mean, that would have been the most brilliant investment option available to you. Would you have liked to do that?
I have always believed Ranbaxy is a great company, has huge value, and it is going to yield dividend in the long term to anybody who has that business.
So did you chase that? Were you interested in picking up?
I wasn't even aware this was happening. So that's out of the question.
Should they not have approached you first?
You should ask them. Why are you asking me?
No, but are you interested? At some level, would you want to revive this baby of yours?
It's not mine.
Huh.
I sold it 6 years ago. They've taken their decision. So this conversation is a theoretical conversation.
Okay. So now, no matter how you feel about Ranbaxy, whatever has happened to the company, now you're on the other side.
Well, I would simply say one thing. When we did this transaction 6 years ago, I was very optimistic and very hopeful. I was giving Ranbaxy in the best possible hands, and they would then take this company forward. But I think as we look back over the last 6 years, I think they've not been able to run this business or understand this business and manage it in the way it needed to be managed. So it's unfortunate, it hurts, it's sad for every Indian, for me personally, for the family. But I think at the end of the day, it's not mine. All I can do is have feelings and views about it. It's their asset, it's their business, it's their decision what they wish to do with it.
So, like I said, now like you said, it's not your baby anymore, and it's a company that's getting run now. It's pretty much a supplier to you, looking at it from the Fortis point of view. You are going to buy medicines from them. How happy are you looking at this giant of a company getting created? How does it erode your negotiation, your side of the bargain?
Well, let me address this point a little differently for you. A year ago, if you may recollect, there was a lot of talk and debate in the hospitals and healthcare space, are Ranbaxy medicines safe?
Yeah.